Last month, I reported that Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland refused to disclose how much money the government is making from the carbon tax, while just 2 weeks before she announced the government would break the law by exceeding the maximum allowable borrowing limit with an additional $500 billion, or $517 billion in borrowing this year. I pondered at the time where all that money was going, as Freeland did not give details. Freeland's budget for 2024, released this past week, gives us some clues. Federal spending this year is projected to total $498 billion, less than the additional $500 billion borrowed. Does that mean that the entire federal budget this year will be covered by new debt? And if so, where are our taxes going? Debt interest charges are already at $54.1 billion, more than double the rate of $24.5 billion in 2021. Minister Freeland sharply revised deficit forecasts originally detailed in her March 28, 2023 budget. New figures include a 2024 deficit of $39.8 billion, 14% more than the $35 billion originally forecast, a 2025 deficit of $38.9 billion, 45% more than the $26.8 billion originally forecast, a 2026 deficit of $30.8 billion, or 95% more than the $15.8 billion originally forecast. Federal bonded debt will eclipse a record $1.3 trillion in 2026. Debt interest charges, now the fastest growing line item in the federal budget, will reach $65 billion annually by 2030. There were other revealing details in the budget. Freeland's budget promises $42 million more in 2024-25 for CBC Radio Canada for news and entertainment programming. CBC received about $1.3 billion in total federal funding last year. The Canadian Security Intelligence Service is in line to receive $655.7 million over 8 years, starting this fiscal year, to enhance its intelligence capabilities and its presence in Toronto. This would be the same CSIS that couldn't stop Chinese interference on our elections, Chinese agents from selling pathogens from the Manitoba Level 4 lab to the Chinese government, or investigate Trudeau's involvement in the SNC-Lavalin scandal. I'll remind you that Chrystia Freeland's degree is in Slavonic Studies. There's absolutely nothing in her background that qualifies her to be Minister of Finance.